Assalamu alaikum. I'm Malik Hodge, an injured warrior of the Midwest and a messenger of the covenant, representing the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, the self-taught one, Master Suleiman. This is Up Late Update with Malik Hodge on this Sunday, August the 7th, 2022. This is where we take current events and give you the understanding of them through the lens of the unsealed scriptures, the Injil, the Gospel of Revelations. And we give you the understanding of how the scriptures fit with today's time. So, let's get started. We're going to start with let's start there. We're going to start in Russia, where fears grow over Ukraine nuclear plant that is now under Russian control. Russia has taken over the nuclear plant in Ukraine. And the nuclear plant has taken on some shelling. America's nuclear minister spoke out against it, against shooting any type of anything over by the nuclear plant, that it could be catastrophic effects, and that the nuclear plant is the largest nuclear plant on the continent. So it's a very large nuclear plant. However, Ukraine said Russia has seized it and is using it to hide. They have bunkered in and they are keeping weapons and hiding by the nuclear plant because they can't be attacked or countered where they're at. Because if you look at it, if you shoot the plant and it blows up, you're going to kill everybody, yourself and everything over there. So it's a concern right now. A concern to many. However, Ukraine's president spoke out against anybody shooting, bombing, doing anything by it. Said he will you don't care what's going on, you'll be put in jail if you shoot anything any missile shot over there by that by the nuclear facility. So just something else that continue war in Ukraine with Russia. And that's really something serious to be looking at. Anybody thinking about shelling or shooting a missile over there at the nuclear facility, it should, be pretty crazy. However, that's what's taking place in Ukraine. The major concern there, besides the ships that left this weekend with X amount of tons of grains going to Turkey, to the Turkish and other areas in the region, and I guess it's just pretty much what is expected for Turkey being the one to negotiate between the two countries on getting the grains out of the Black Sea. So that's what's taking place over in Russia, well, in Ukraine. Our next topic is going to be, this is a topic that let's just get into it. 3 dead in lightning strike, including a couple celebrating their wedding anniversary. 2 Wisconsin residents celebrating their wedding anniversary died following a lightning strike near the White House. On Thursday night, police confirmed to ABC News Friday. Now, a third victim, a 29-year-old man, has also died in the incident, police said Friday afternoon. A fourth person is still in critical condition following the lightning strike. So, they were at the White House and I guess that's a tourist walkthrough, or when you look at the White House or something. However, the lightning strike was so fierce that it came out the sky and killed 3 people that was in the area, and has one in critical condition. That was a serious lightning strike, and it was a 76-year-old what's his name? Sam Mueller, and a 75-year-old Donna Mueller. And they were celebrating their anniversary. So they went from their anniversary The only thing you can say about that, they died together. They to death do us part. And to die on your anniversary by a lightning strike, man, you talk about some bad luck. That's some bad luck. And the other 29-year-old man, his name was Brooke Lambertson, and he was out of LA, Los Angeles, California. They said he was out there for business. It's just, and the other person that's in critical, they didn't give their name, but it's just, to understand how, this weather is really affecting the country day in and day out. I mean, it's not been one day without tremendous torrential rainfalls. Kentucky, they're expecting another passing or another storm coming through that's a possible threat to dropping tremendous rainfall again on top of the flooding and the devastation that they already have. So they had some rescuers out of Tennessee, a rescue company, or those to rescue people. I don't know if they were boat rescue or helicopter rescue. Either one, they was a rescue company, and they was due to go back to Tennessee. However, because of this expected storm, they were asked to stay. So these storms, like I said, it's so much, being in an area, and we're in the Midwest right now, and through the South, Georgia. However, being in, you can feel this high pressure. You can feel the high pressure, how the humidity in the air, the pressure, and you can feel that pressure when it's hitting 100 degrees, and then part of the day you go from feeling that high pressure, and then an hour or two will come through with a wind from the opposite direction, like a wind stream come through, clouds rolling about 30-35 miles an hour or something, cutting through with this low pressure. You can feel when the wind blow, you go and you get a nice, cool, great feeling wind, but you know that wind don't go with this type of heat. That's that lower pressure cutting through. So with this high pressure coming and pushing, you got high pressure all through the East Coast again, and with what they're sharing, that this is going to be the rhythm for August. These higher temperatures, and thunderstorms, because of the low pressure and the higher temperature. Just they really can't share with you exactly, listening to the meteorologist, until they can really pinpoint it, because these things is happening so sporadically, and the storms are forming. The storms are forming. See, what's taking place is, if you keep your eye up in the sky, sometimes I do this. Maybe I'm looking for something to happen, but the clouds will hit brakes, be rolling, then just stop, bam. It'd be a set of rain clouds, thunderstorm. It's all black right there, and there you'll look. I see another set of clouds coming across, moving rapidly, and they get right about on the other clouds, and then they all just take back off. The clouds, these clouds meet up with these clouds, and they take back off. And just seeing, I said, somebody's in trouble, because that's a storm. And that's how these storms are coming. They're might be whipping through, moving fast, but that's how they hit these flood zones, and they come, and then they just stop right there, slow moving. They call them slow moving. No, they hit the brakes, and they're moving over it, dumping severe torrential rain down. And that's what, if you're looking, you say, man, that system was moving pretty rapid, and then it just slowed down. That's what they're looking at, and they really can't tell you exactly where this torrential rain or this storm is going. They can let you know that a storm. We're expecting a storm to come through here, by looking at the pressures, the lows and highs. But they can't tell you exactly where those clouds gonna slow up and stop and drop that rain. So that's something to be, paying attention to, looking at. However, we were on this these 4 people that got hit by this lightning at the White House, and man, that is what you will call a honeymoon. What is it? Anniversary disaster, and a business trip disaster. Just, man, you gotta think, to be there at that time, you had to be sitting. You had to be there to get hit. So Um, I can't even say that's the wrong place at the wrong time, but I can tell you it was a deadly place to be at that time. So let us move on. Our next topic. Okay. Our next topic is we're going to go to Gaza, Palestine, where they've been fighting for 3 days. Israel, Palestine militants agree to ceasefire. After 3 days of fighting, Egypt, UN mediated truce. At least 44 Palestinians were killed. Gaza officials say, while Islamic Jihad agreed to a ceasefire late Sunday after 3 days of fighting that saw more than 40 Palestinians killed and rockets fly deep into false Israel's heartland. In the most intense exchange of fire since an 11-day conflict last year. The ceasefire brokered by Egypt and the United Nations came into effect at 11:30 p.m. And Egypt officials said, Israel said it would respond strongly if the ceasefire deal was violated, but didn't comment on its terms. As part of the ceasefire, the Iranian-backed Islamic Jihad said Egypt had pledged to the group that it would work to free 2 of its members from false Israel's prison. A UN team will visit one of the 2 men, Bassam al-Sadim, senior commander, who was recently arrested. 2 people familiar with the matter said. Let us move on with that. I'll keep on with that. In the U.S., President Biden welcomed the ceasefire. Over these last 72 hours, the United States has worked with officials from false Israel, the Palestinian Authority, Egypt, Qatar, Qatar, Jordan, and others throughout the region to encourage a swift resolution to the conflict. He said in a statement Sunday night, Mr. Biden said he supported false Israel rights and defend itself against attacks. He added that his administration supports a thorough investigation into reports of civilian casualties in Gaza, whether by false Israel strikes other against Islamic Jihad had positions or the dozens of Islamic Jihad rockets that reportedly fell inside Gaza. The ceasefire comes after false Israel's military carried out a wave of airstrikes targeting what it said was Islamic Jihad members and sites since Friday, and the militant group launched hundreds of missiles at the country south and center. At least 44 Palestinians have been killed, including 2 senior militant commanders and 11 children, while 360 people have been wounded, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Now, this conflict in Gaza, false Israel started these raids, started with this raiding of Palestinian areas, or where they live, provinces, or where these in the cities. So they're conducting these raids inside of, going in their homes, basically terrorizing, going through house to house, carrying out these raids, and then have the nerve to get upset that when these people are telling you, are getting upset about how you're conducting yourself, you're pushing yourself through here, going into people's homes. You're not doing your people like that. You're not terrorizing your people. Your people, no one's going in and out of all of their homes, going from house to house. But false Israel blocks off food from coming in. They're blocking roads, and then have the nerve to put an airstrike on these people with all the weaponry and things that they have. They airstrike these people, and false Israel is always being the aggressor, and that they're always the aggressor. They the ones that are going in the houses. They're the one pushing the issue. And they're also the one telling you. They the one speaking out that they will eliminate the Islamic Jihad. This is Benny Gantz said, in one way or another, we're going to eliminate them. If we got to bomb them, airstrike them, we're going to take them out one way or another. This is what he said in his own mouth. So this false Israel aggression on the Palestinians, they don't want to stop. They know that they have they know they have the Iron Dome. They have the siren system, the bomb bunkers for the people to run in. But they're throwing their weight around, and they always do, on these Palestinians. You heard just today, or in this article, that $11 children was killed. Also, this article was by a Dove Lambert and Aaron Boxema. However, you heard they said 11 children was killed as well. And they never really mentioned the Palestinian people. They always mention the Palestinian. When they're talking about the Palestinian people, they always say Iranian back proxies, Palestinian, Iranian back proxies. But the Palestinian people are the homes that you're raiding. They say that they are blowing up these homes or houses that got these missiles in them. But in contrast to the narrations that they push, and most of the news, any news out that area, is always going to be catered to false Israel, because you're not going to get well, let me say it like this, because Gravite, if they get a reporter in there, you might hear it. If they get more information, you might hear it a little different spin on it, or more of the truth. However, the information base, or the reporter base, usually coming out of Israel, false Israel, is pretty tight on how what they say that can affect false Israel. They might not give you, it flat out. However, false Israel is the aggressor. And they're not telling you that. False Israel is the aggressor, pressing, pushing, making, if you're going to push people back against the wall, and you threaten them, and you coming through, and you snatching people up, you're going through their homes, yeah, you're going to do this, you got the mentality that you saying that you gonna go to every home and walk through every home, and this is what you own. And they don't need no reason. Once those false Israel and their Benny Gans share with what they're gonna do, they don't ask no questions. They go right into motion of terrorizing the Palestinians. So you push people into a corner, you airstrike them, and then you don't think they gonna retaliate. And see, if you gotta use your mind, use your thinking. Mathematical thinking lets you know that they did this airstrike. They pushed them and they put pressure on them till they put pressure to make them agitated, and then they airstruck them. False Israel airstrike them first. They didn't shoot missiles at false Israel first. What about that? False Israel airstrike them, then they done it, and false Israel did that. So when they started bringing out their weapons to shoot back, they used that. They're using that. We're gonna shoot them and make them bring their weapons out, so we can try to get an eyeball on where their weapons is coming from, and then we can bomb where we think, right in that zone somewhere. So you gotta keep your eye from an angel perspective. We already know what time it is. What time it is that what's going to take place in the Middle East. Okay, let me see. Excuse me. Let me see if this is. Let me see if this is tied to anyone commenting. Well, this is a live recording, and I do stop to see if anyone's commenting or have something to say, to chime in. I will take I do look at the comments and reply, and I do it live when if and any of them come in. However, looking at this from an angel point of view, knowing where we at in today's time in the world, that this abomination of desolation is going to take place, due to, and the JCPOA is going to be the addition to it. Looking at the JCPOA and knowing and letting it be known that Iran is not going back up under the foot of the nations. They're not going back into this JCPOA. And looking at everything that is taking place in the Middle East, from Jerusalem being surrounded by armies, the abomination of death. When you see this, the scripture said, know that their destruction is nigh. However, looking on and knowing and trying to see, from the perspective of, if false Israel is not speaking up and sharing anything from what's taking place with the JCPOA, or with this, not hearing anything on this attempt to this attempt on Iran's nuclear facility to bomb it, with these spies or agents that they sent over, and for these spies to be picked up and you never hear it, nothing's never been said about false Israel's never said anything about the spies. They haven't commented on the attempt to sabotage Iran's nuclear facility. So that was a direct, staged plan to sabotage and blow. That was a attack by false Israel. They had put a lot of money and a lot of invested time and planning into this this attack to sabotage Iran's nuclear facility. And that is a way that they was trying to put a dent or a stop to Iran's progress. But shortly after that, Iran let them know the next day or so, after they picked up the agents, that they're capable to produce 60% uranium, and in days they're capable to produce 90% uranium, and that if they wanted to produce the bomb, they already have the technology, and they're not in need of building the bomb, because if they got the technology to enrich the uranium, you think they would also have the technology and the whereabouts to produce the bomb? So all they have to do is put it together. So we have to be looking and prepared and expecting this war to blow at any moment. America's commander-in-chief, he's been out of commission for 17 days due to COVID. Right after he gets back from the Middle East, he's sidelined. So they're back in Vienna a couple of days ago, trying to, look at this last draft that Joseph Burroughs wrote up, and nothing has been finalized or said anything else about it in a couple of days now. So, the knowledge of what's going to happen, we know from the unsealed perspective of the Injil's perspective of the unsealed Bible, that they're not going back into the JCPOA, and that's what's going to set the war off in the Middle East, which is about to happen any day. So let me check. Let me look at our time. I'm just going to wrap it up from here. The abomination of desolation is what this is called this time. That we will be seeing at any day. The area is boiling, and to looking on at what's taking place and what has happened, you should be able to see from a thinking standpoint, a mathematical standpoint, of those of us that have opened up their mind to accept the truth and to accept your I know I see some cricket. To start receiving your 360 degrees of your knowledge from the unsealed scriptures, and using your, practicing and using your mind and looking at things, brain start clicking. It's evident why you're not hearing things, why certain things are taking place. And you have to know they're preparing for a physical military assault against Iran. That's a fact. They're not saying nothing. They're quiet because it's just like being in the eye of a storm. Before the storm, it gets quiet. They getting quiet. But see, the thing is, they're quiet, planning, thinking they're about to take out their plan. However, they're dealing with, like Iran said, we don't run down, and we calculate, we thinkers. We not just, quick to come sign something. No. Who would sign something that you got to throw away everything you have done, set it aside, get rid of it. And when you do that, they can just, first of all, you got rid of all your, what you've been working on. You lost several people's lives behind this nuclear program, scientists being snuffed out, assassinated. See, that's one of the things about false Israel and their tactics. There's nothing like when they're doing whatever they're doing, especially when it comes to them trying to run that, assassinating people, shooting, taking out airstrikes on homes, taking out airstrikes that's not what I said. Yes, ma'am. What was that? Okay. Okay. They were. There's nothing that they won't. There's not no line that they won't cross. So when they're speaking on anything, it's always, a set of rules or how somebody's supposed to engage, or a problem when someone else engages with them in the same manner as they engage with others. False Israel don't have any nothing to they don't have any room to speak, because they will execute a person, people, children with airstrikes or whatever it takes to accomplish whatever they want. They will go into other people's country just as if like America and carry out any type of airstrike or whatever in these people in other people's countries, and then go back and act like they ain't did nothing wrong. Laws don't pertain to them. No type of law pertains to them. Just like Biden speaking on the Palestinian. We still supports Israel's role, or support Israel in carrying out any type of airstrikes or military use on nation or peoples as they will, but we support them. However, knowing that in this abomination of desolation, what time we in, this JCPOA where they're not going back into, um, the shock of the hour. So when you see Saudi Arabia, the House of Saud, the Dragon, America and Britain, False Israel, and the other 6 Sunni nations that have made and made a alliance with false Israel under this Abraham Accord. And when you hear Abraham Accord, so you have to know that is an accord against the black man and woman, against the true seed of Abraham. All of them had those common enemy and common enemies that they are seeking to take out, or they're against, because what it threatens their existence, period. However, Master Farad Muhammad, Michael and his angels are going to go to war with the dragon and his angels, and they're going to take them out. So in seeing that, when you see false Israel succeeds and destroyed, then that is going to be the shock of the hour, because it's going to shock the world. Just because they have made this claim, they have taken our identity, they have made us look like buffoons and clowns. They have literally took and created our a culture for us. They've created the narrative of who we are. They've created a they've created a visual, under a characterization of who we are and how we think, that they put out in television, that they stream in radio, because they own radio, they own television, they own these companies that they put out, that they use to control and narrate who we are and what you see, that they put out in representing us. So when you see false Israel taken down, it's going to shock the world. The whole world is going to be shocked. And the whole world is going to be shocked to find out that the black man and woman of America is, for sure, the true seed of Abraham. And that's what's going to, it's not only going to cause a shock, but it's going to cause this Caucasian to basically lose his mind. He's going to snap and upset and jealous and angry to find out that the black man is the true seed of Abraham and is God's chosen people. He's going to be so upset to know, oh, you choose this nothing people as God's chosen people. Basically, it's upset because of what they have done to us, how they have treated us. What is the effect? What's the consequence that they're receiving? What time it is? What's about to happen to their civilization? All these things is gonna be crossing their mind because they gonna know from what the unsealed scriptures say and the time that the scriptures are sharing it and what we have already shared previously, that what is about to happen with them, that they're being taken out and they're going to be made furious from jealousy and envy, because they're envious people, and that envy is going to make them literally turn in to take us out, to attack the black man and woman, all black men and women, demons included, original people, because they're not going to be able to decipher who's who. As long as you black, you're going to be on the kill or on the take or to be taken out. So that's what's going to be happening from the angel perspective, and there are 3 areas too that we're going to what's the word? Flee to, and that is Chicago, Indiana, and Detroit. However, more information will come when the time gets closer. Can't tell the thief when you won't be at the house, because he'll know when to come in. So we can't give them all the information because they'll be sitting on the road waiting on us, just waiting to take us out. However, this is our show for this evening, and I'd like to thank you for watching. If you have any comments, it's an open chat. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, and 9 o'clock Pacific. And with that, I'm going to greet you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum.